We're beginning. We're good.
We're clear. Get a sip of this water.
I love this. I'm putting this in the
ASMR.
podcast right in the beginning of the intro.
ASMR vibes for real.
All right, yeah.
You know, people be listening to the ASMR.
What
Alright,
is
I don't
up?
know
My
why I
name
know
is.
these
What is up? I'm Johnny Walker.
I'm Lance Prince.
Welcome to episode 1 of the Winner Table Podcast. Welcome to episode 1 of the Winner Table Podcast. We're here
That
at.
threw me off.
We're here at the Sesh House, Sesh Cafe, and it is absolutely a wonderful location. They have everything you really need to keep your dreams going. That's what I'll call it.
Popped in here. We were planning on just checking out the venue. We'll talk about this more later, but we're gonna just check out the venue to set up our own show. But we saw this podcast set up, and I guess we got to recommend it to others. But maybe this is where we're gonna.
No,
start.
we're gonna gatekeep it for sure.
Episode 1 right here.
We're gonna gatekeep it for
podcast.
sure, bro. No one can know about this spot. We're gonna gatekeep it for sure,
Oh
bro.
wait, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Don't say that in front of the owner now. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm messing around, but absolutely. Shout out to the Sesh House and the Sesh Cafe. I haven't tried their coffee yet, but I'm a coffee connoisseur, so I'm gonna have to try some stuff and see how that black coffee is, because I don't put any milk. Actually, I don't put any milk, any sugar in it. I just take it straight. I take it how God intended it. You know what I mean?
That sounded. No, actually, hold up. You said straight though. He takes it straight.
I am straight.
Yeah. Yeah. No, this is a great start. This is a great start.
Let's clear this up. I like my coffee black, like my women. No, I'm joking.
Hey, yo, that's
I'm-
wild to be saying.
I'm just-
Your girl's
I'm-
white.
She's actually Puerto Rican and Italian.
All right, wait.
She's,
Just making sure.
super exotic. Though,
I'm
but
just making sure.
I'm definitely messing this up on the
Yeah,
first
yeah.
part. But let's get into it.
Don't
So
worry. This is beautiful. I love this. No, this is all staying in.
oh shit, really?
Yep.
Damn. Okay, so just a public service announcement. Always drink some water.
Yeah, bro.
Yeah, water is super important, especially with like the heat outside. Even if it's not hot outside, stay
I
hydrated.
got my water.
He's got his water. I got the big bottle. Took the branding off because I don't want you to know what I'm drinking, but it's water. Just know that.
He was asking for Fiji earlier. This man's
Fiji
crazy.
is solid. You know why? Because they're BPA free. What do you know about BPA free, Lance?
I know that I shouldn't drink bad plastic, so
Bad plastics. That is actually BPA free bad plastics.
bad plastic.
No, but seriously, yeah, bad plastics. So that's the good thing about Fiji. That's why I say, yo, do Fiji, because Fiji does the BPA free, which makes sure that the plastic is not actually seeping into your water, which just fucking sucks. It actually ruins your chemical makeup, your hormones, whatever it is. Not good. I could go into that for days, but that's not what we're here to talk about. Another thing is, though, you could get glass water. So if you get your water in a glass, that's also...
Yeah, I know about that glass water you've been drinking because you left the bottle in my car.
I did, bro.
Since the last time we
That was Voss,
recorded
though.
a music session.
That was Voss, bro. That was a Voss water bottle.
Yeah,
You know how much they charged me for those Voss water bottles?
How much?
I was not even upset because it was a glass water bottle and supposedly Voss is good. It was actually 4th of July I got that. It was actually at the Chit Chat Diner in West Orange, if you've ever been there. I was like, yo, do you guys sell water just to go? I just need some water because, like I said, drink your water. And they were like, yeah, we have Voss though. I'm like, okay, can I have some water? And they're like, yeah, no problem. They have one really big glass. Then they have the small glasses. I'm trying to get water for me and my girl. So I'm like, you know what? Let me get the big glass and a mini glass because, you know, she can't drink as much water as I do.
Right.
But
You still didn't finish that water.
I did, though. I actually refilled it.
Oh,
That was a refill, bro. Don't play me on air. But yeah, $11 for two water bottles. It was deep, but it was worth it.
See, I think this is the perfect way to show our personalities to brothers like me, the channel. Everybody that's been supporting, I really love all of y'all. We've been growing tremendously. You know, to the 70% or 80% that watches and don't subscribe. I don't know what you're doing. You gotta subscribe.
It's free to subscribe. You should.
Yeah. And then we'll eventually charge you for Patreon. But we're not there yet. At least we're honest. You see, that's my catchphrase for the past few weeks.
How long have you been doing that?
You know, at least since the beginning of July. So I guess it's not been a few weeks. It's been only a week.
Beginning of July.
Yeah. I just started being like, at least I'm honest. Like even the kids. So I've been teaching these kids at the summer camp, and I be teaching them martial arts and shit. And then we play dodgeball at the end.
You teach the kids martial arts?
Yeah, I teach the kids martial arts.
What's that all
Forget
about?
about all that. That's kind of boring.
I mean, it's not boring. So why are you a martial arts teacher?
Well, I've done MMA for a good I think I'm on my 16 years now, and I'm
16
22.
years.
Yeah, so most of my life has been fighting. So definitely give a round of applause for that.
Yes.
But yeah, so I mean, I'm beyond qualifications for this job, obviously, but not in a bad way. It's in a good way because they need it, and I'm a very good teacher. I could take control of the room. I could teach adults. I could teach kids. I could train them. I've been a bodybuilder when I was in high school. I did 3 bodybuilding shows.
As well.
Yeah, I did 3 bodybuilding shows. But even back to be honest, like, at least I'm honest. Like, I've been like saying that to the kids. Like, I'll be playing dodgeball with them at the end of class, and I'll aim for one kid. Like, I'll target a certain kid because I hate him. Okay, not in a
at
bad
least
way.
he's honest, I guess. At least he's honest.
But
Okay.
no, not in a bad way. Hate him. Like, he's been like being a rough one in class, just screaming, running around the room. It's a summer camp. They're not really signed up. They're not here for martial arts, if that makes sense. They're here to have fun.
Martial arts is just the aspect.
Yeah, it's just one of the. They do basketball. They do this, racquetball, whatever. So I target this one kid, and then at the end of class, one day he's like, "Why are you always targeting me?" and blah blah blah. And I'm like, "I'm targeting you because you've been a bad kid in class."
Oh, interesting.
And he looked at me. He's like, blah 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 blah. And I said, "At least I'm honest, right?" And that was just from that point forward. I've been sticking to it. For kids, for anything, I'm just at least I'm honest. So even when it comes to relationship, this or family, this, I just say it straight because at least I'm honest about it. I don't want to be, it takes more energy not being honest. So just a new little catchphrase right there.
No, I mean that's. I mean, listen, it's not as corny as honesty is the best policy, which is like super true at the end of the day. Because I feel like being honest is like the best way to help people not only grow, but help people realize, reflect. It's super important. So keep being honest, bro. Because
I mean, my apologies.
No, I was gonna say that's like a valuable trait to have, honesty.
Right, and
a lot of people are afraid to be honest.
Especially if you're trying to do business with people in general too. If you're an honest person, that's a reputation you build in general.
I like that.
But even going further past that, it's like, what do you call it? In that one book that I read, it's called like How to Know God or something. It was like a Buddhist book or whatever.
Interesting.
And in the book, it said, in order to, what was the quote? It said, damn, I'm trying to remember the quote for some reason.
Well, listen, you can paraphrase.
Paraphrase. So basically, what was we talking about? Hold up, my brain just blanked.
In order to know God, it was like something about honesty or something.
Oh yeah. Okay, easily put, basically, an honest man, if he's honest externally, he's gonna be more honest with himself.
Ooh.
So in a sense, it's like,
what? Oh shit!
Right,
I think I may have actually heard that quote.
Right,
something similar to that as well.
Right. Like if I'm gonna be over here like saying I'm not misogynistic, but I make jokes, the girl should be in the kitchen.
Right. Okay.
Technically, even if it is a joke, I'm not being honest. So what am I true? So now I'm saying I want to be successful. So am I really honest about that, or because am I gonna joke about I'm gonna fail? Like. Or because another cool thing, my mom has said this, every joke has 1% of truth.
A lot of people say that, behind every joke is some truth.
And
that's what they say.
Every good joke has a little more than 1% of truth, right?
I like that.
So it's like,
that's why comedians, when you listen, usually you laugh the hardest if it's something you could relate to or something you're like, that's true. Like true.
It's something true. So in a way, it's like, okay, if it's something true that I'm saying out loud, then I guess, I'm not being true when I'm saying even something internally, like I'm going to be successful. So in a sense, like start somewhere, start today. No one said start regretting all your other lies and everything. Honestly, just start telling the truth today.
Start today. I like that a lot. That's actually super dope. Like start today, because a lot of people think, oh, like I fucked up. Maybe a lot of people they like to ruminate on the past, but you're right. You could always start today. You could always change yourself for the better or for the worse. So like keep that in mind. And I think the other big thing that I want to say about that too, kind of like being honest with yourself, and that actually like being honest outwardly actually reflects on the way you're going to be honest with yourself. It's kind of like how people say to build your confidence, it comes from keeping your own promises first. It's like, how are you going to keep promises to other people? Maybe you're in a relationship, work, whatever it is, if you can't keep a promise to yourself where you're like, hey, I'm going to release a track every month for this year and see where that goes. If you let yourself down, now you actually don't have reliability within yourself, which is almost more important, right? Because that's what builds confidence.
Yeah, and I remember you talking about that, and I had more realizations, realizing like not even on the scheme of my apologies. So I was realizing as
That's your
we've
phone
had
blown up.
no. Don't worry about it. But so basically, we've had conversations about how you wanted to release once a month and et cetera. And I've had the thought, which is opposing to a sense where it's like, I've realized you can't also tell people how to, like, you're basically teaching someone how to build their ship the way your ship is built, right? Like,
Ooh, okay.
they all everybody swims different. If that
Oh,
makes sense,
I like that
You know what I'm
metaphor.
saying?
It's like everyone's gonna attack the water in a different way.
right, and only thing you can do is suggest things that give inspiration, but the
Because
rest
realistically,
is
it's suggestions from your own experience. Most of the time, our suggestions and our recommendations and our advice comes from our experience and everything that we've brought in over time.
Right.
So, being able to say, hey, to go back to that boat metaphor, it's like usually, well, my boat sails better when I have a team on it.
Right.
Or it's like if you were to go to the swimming one, it's like, well, I actually seem to get to the destination faster if I do the breaststroke. Or
Right.
if I do if I float backwards, actually it's less attack on my core, so I can keep going.
Right.
It's like, it's all like a metaphor, but that's a lot of it is from your experiences and your life.
Right. And back to the honesty thing, if you're honest about everything, in a sense, your experiences, and then in a sense, you know that your friend is not telling you a lie to destroy you, in a sense. Like, we're always, honest. So it's like, I don't like your track. I'm probably not saying it because I don't like,
Right.
It's if you carry that honesty with you. So at
And
least I'm honest.
there's two things about that too, because like you could tell someone you don't like that track, and if you were not honest, and let's say that you not telling them you don't like that track prevented them from growing and getting better at what they
Right.
do, you're actually doing them a disservice by you not being honest.
Yeah, there's so even yes men, that's a bad thing to have around you because they're liars. In a sense, it's like they're not going to tell you the truth in any other aspect. If they're going to lie to you and say that you might be sitting there like, this song's trash, and then they're over here like, yo, fuck yeah, and they're always saying fuck yeah.
Right.
Like they're just not definitely don't surround yourself with those people and etc.
You want to surround yourself with people. They say you are a reflection of the 5 people you hang around. So you do want to try to. That's another big thing. It's the people that you choose to keep around you, the company you keep, which actually most of the time they say tells your character.
Right.
It tells how successful you're going to be, how you are in a relationship, because the people you choose to be around you are most of the time a reflection of yourself. Are they going to be a reflection of yourself mentally? You know what I mean?
Right.
But another thing also too, on top of that, where it's like you, to go back to the confidence and the honesty, let's say you were to tell that person, oh, I don't like this song, but they know that song was good and they want to keep, and they're confident about it. That's actually stronger than them being so influenced by it. So it's like a balancing act. Because I was talking to Justin about it. He was like, yo, because I was like, yo, let me show you this new track I was working on.
IRL.
Justin.IRL. He's a GOAT, bro. But like I was talking to him, I was like, yo, I want to show you this new track I was working on. And he was like, if I tell you I don't like it, will that affect you? And I was like, no. If I like it, I'm going to continue to be behind it. But if I was actually insecure about it at first, and I was like, oh, I don't know how I feel about this part, now I'm looking for, what do they call it? Now I'm looking for critiques.
Right.
Where critiques is actually different than, someone maybe like attacks, right? So
Right.
I told him, listen, if you don't like the song, I'm going to and I still like it, I just wanted to show it to you because I'm proud of it. And he's like, okay, so now I know I can be honest with you.
Right.
And that's the beautiful thing about it.
Right. It's an interesting statement for sure, in a sense where it's like, well, would he have lied? I don't, et cetera. But going to connect to that too, it's like we were having the conversation earlier about how, people are, we're over here trying to set up a show. We have a music video and a photo shoot that not only includes our brand, our new brand, thewinnertable.com clothing brand. It includes our clothing brand in the photo shoot, but we're also having the music video shot at the same time as the photo shoot. And we're going to have a whole day just allotted to music video, and we're going to have a car drifting at the end and et cetera. And, people are saying we're doing too much, and is this going to stray away from our music? And you could look at it from all angles, but that's almost my mentality when it comes to it, where it's like, hey, I believe in like that doing the different direction is the right direction. So I'm kind of similarly minded in that sense, but maybe you could even twist it and understand it in that aspect from what I was explaining earlier.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, no, and it's like that music video is definitely going to be pretty dope. It's actually for a song called Picture This. And,
Unreleased track currently.
Unreleased track. I feel like that's a pretty good segue to maybe actually explain the story behind how I actually met this character, because I definitely like I learned new things about this dude, because he's like, I just met him recently this year, actually at a Mad Minds event. Mad Minds had their first annual event in January. Shout out to Mad Minds Turkish Royale Progress, and Lance Prince. He was really about it. I went there, I performed. I had to leave early because I had some other obligations. But he was actually someone that took it serious. He was like, "Yo, pull up to the studio session. I'm working on some music. I'm looking for some collaborators." I was like, dope. Crazy thing too is this year I was like, yo, I'm looking for some more people to collaborate, and that was one of my other goals this year. I was like,
could I pause you on that
Go
just to
ahead.
hold it? And it's not even like I was connecting. It was like I added the part where it's like also a connection. My apologies. A connecting experience where he's going to meet other artists that were also going to be coming.
Talk about
as well as the engineer is Colin Product Atkins, who's the engineer for many artists such as Coil Ray. And he's worked with Mike Will Made It and Coil Ray on their most recent album that's either out now or coming out, depending on when this is released. And yeah,
You had Me Nice there. Shout out to Me Nice.
And
You had
King Kong
King
movement.
Kong. Shout out King Kong. Just some other really cool people in Jersey. That's the great thing about New Jersey. I'll call it back.
Yeah, but as you were saying, you were looking to collaborate with more artists during the year.
Yes. So I was looking to collaborate with more artists, and then Lance was very serious about it. He was like, "Yo, I'm having this session. It's this dope studio." I end up, because I actually work this job where I do sales for a social media marketing company. Shout out to Ethereal Media. We're next up here. We're doing the best marketing in the area, in the Jersey tri-state area, soon to be all over the U.S.
Shout out Alex Fogg.
Alex Fogg, legendary. But yeah, so I was actually working late because I had to go we were doing something in New York City. I pull up to this studio. This place is like in Caldwell, which is like a super chill town, but it's like behind these buildings. I'm like, this seems like a sketchy studio, bro. I'm like, where's this guy bringing me, yo? What type of place is this? Although it's in Caldwell, which is pretty chill, I'm like, all right, whatever. Let's pull up. I pull up, super dope studio. Everybody just chilling, having a good time, working on some music, and I'm like, yo, this is next level. I pull up. At first, it's just Lance and I think Me Nice that were there in progress. They were working on the music. They let me know what they wanted me on, what the ideas were. Next thing I know, this nigga pulls up with some pizza. I'm like, wait. I remember him too from the January show. It's King Kong. And he's like, oh, yo, what's good? And I'm like, yo, Lance is just bringing all these people together. This is super cool. So then we ended up working on this music. Music was dope. Fast forward, we decided to work on some more music. And, I kind of showed him. I was like, bro, I've actually been doing this thing where I've been recording myself, saving money.
On a mic and a MacBook on GarageBand.
It's chill, bro. But listen, it's not about the software you use. It's about the person that uses it.
Right. And to extend off of what you're talking about, like we built from there, and I learned to use it really well because Johnny struggles with his vision. We will talk more about that later. But I'm able to. I was able to master pretty much GarageBand really quick, and we've been making the songs that you guys have been listening to of recently, and one song's about to surpass 20,000 streams on Spotify.
That's true.
All
Outside.
mixed and mastered by Outside by Lance Prince and Johnny Walker. You could look it up on Spotify. But yeah, it's been mixed and mastered by me in a sense. We've been skipping out on the part where we have to pay a certain amount of money to go to the studio, and now we're able to take that money and put it into promotion for the songs and etc. And that's just some music business for y'all. If you're able to save money, do it.
It's all strategy, and I think taking the time to actually learn and hone in your skills—that's the most important thing. This game of life is all about the skills. It's like, what type of value do you have, and the person that actually wants to continue to build their skills, find new ways to sharpen their tools. That's the person that always goes farther. So it's like, okay, right now I'm going to a studio and I'm paying this price. But wait, maybe I can actually get the equipment, learn to do it. Then you can actually save yourself some time and work on your recording presence, because there's not that time limit of, yo, I got this X price per hour.
Right.
It's like, yo, I could just chill, lock in, make the song I want, and then listen. Fuck it. You don't even have to mix it. You could send it to a mixer, because I was mixing my own music for like a minute. I was mixing everything. I was doing it myself, and I was like, bro, what's gonna make this process faster? Outsourcing. So what did I do? I was like, let me find some people that can mix, and I got into contact with one of the best mix engineers I think in Jersey. His name is Cook. Shout out to Dumb Lit. And he just freaking cooks these tracks.
Right, but if you look at and not to say it, but if you look at the price, it's about $150 maybe for it. and what is it, one song, right? And not to like
150 to 200, bro.
right,
It's deep, bro.
right. And so where I go back to a good artist once said, I don't know who this artist is, quote me in the comments, but he said. If I'm gonna take it to an engineer to make it sound like trash, why not learn it and make it sound like trash myself?
Which is true.
Right. So it's like the concept where like, because everybody still has the opinion, oh, this was mixed weird and blah blah blah, and like, all right, so I might as well just get good at it myself.
You
So
could.
there's no this, that, and the third. I could just get better and better, and I'll put my 10,000 hours on that. And in a sense, sure, it takes time, but at least all of that art maybe feels more. Maybe I do feel more invested within the songs when I'm putting in. It's like, polishing your car, washing your car more often.
Yep.
It's like now, oh, this is my baby, so that's kind of like, you're nurturing it and you're
Raising
sculpting it
Yep.
the way you want to really
Right.
hear it. And, again, engineers hear it differently and they make it sound fucking amazing. They made your track sound beautiful, but no, goes to say, other than the fact that you have vision impairment, other than that, I feel like if you can learn it, put that effort in, and you just saved yourself another 150 to 200.
You did, but to play devil's advocate, if you want to, now we can talk about time versus money, because if we want to get into business, it's like time is money. So you could be actually recording more songs with your time and then using your money to mix those songs. So now you're putting more out. It's actually just like, I feel like it goes down to figuring out what makes the most sense for you, because everybody's different.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe you have the time to actually spend mixing your tracks, learning to mix your tracks. And I'm saying that, and I actually spent the time to learn and mix my own tracks, and I was doing it. And then I was like, you know what? I just had the idea. I was like, you know what's really going to actually take this process to the next level? Let me work with someone that could even take my sound to the next level.
Right.
So that's what made me want to reach out.
Right.
And it's like I think there's so many people out there that are extremely talented on making music, engineering, and everything. Like shout out to the homie Tom Jacobs. He's like one of the best engineers I remember. In like I used to be in a group with him, and he would engineer all our stuff. Stuff was next level.
Right.
Like you could really do it. Like, and that's another thing I was saying. Like I know you always say it's stuff that they say you can't do makes you want to do it more, and you just want to do it.
So you're saying on a scale of, that's just my mentality.
Because I think when people tell you can't, you say, I want to do what they think is impossible.
Yeah, and I think that's a trait of mine. Going back to what I was trying to bring up to Johnny earlier about like the mentality part of like how, like if someone says no, it's like, yeah, I could still do it. Like even if someone's like, hey, like if I don't like the track, would you still like it? You're still going to be, confident in your decisions. And I'm confident in being a person who aims high, in a sense of, I live one life. You live one life, right? Like every person lives one life, so why aim or waste time aiming low? And if you want to aim for a 9-to-5 job and that makes you happy, or you aim to just be an artist, whatever it is, just aim as not an extreme where it's like crazy where it's obsessive and you can't live life, but there needs to be a level of, I'm gonna really aim high, so if I shoot for the stars and I miss, I'll land on the moon or I'll land on Mars. And either way, you're still gonna land higher than most can because they're shooting for the atmosphere. They're like, oh, maybe if I hit the clouds, I'll see the stars. Like, nah, like shoot for those stars. You'll definitely have a clear view, and you're supposed to fail. Like a beautiful thing. My first MMA fight, I remember like the nerves still didn't hit yet. I was, chilling. I was actually more worried about standing on the scale and making sure I was weighing 155. I did a 20-pound cut that week.
Wow.
I did it 1 week.
20 pounds in 1 week?
Yeah, I stood on the scale as 177 or 178 at Retro Fitness when I used to work at Retro Fitness. I stood on the scale and their like official like scale or whatever on Sunday that week, and my fight was Saturday, and I was like, oh shit, like I need to cut my weight now, starting tonight. And by that Friday, I was weighing 162. And then all from that morning, 162. By the end of the night, I weighed 157. And then I knew that I did my cut properly, and I only drank a water bottle, and that water bottle was going to last me until I stepped on the scale for the whole day. And I just did 100-degree sauna suit, hoodie and sweatpants, biking 100 something miles total in the
Shit.
sun and meditating in the grass. So like I really knew I did, and I did a hot tub, sitting in the hot tub, sweating it all out at the end of the night. Like I was at 157. I was ready to wake up the next day at least 2 pounds lighter, which I did. I actually weighed in with 154, so I knew I could like take a little bite of something and maybe sip a little more water. But I was more worried
Jeez.
about stepping on the scale. I could care less about the fight. And I remember just hearing the words from the guy running the MMA event and saying like, man, there's only winning. You win when you win, and you for sure are a big winner when you lose because you learned more than the winner.
Wow.
You learned more than the winner or it's up to you to learn,
Right.
but a loss is as big as of a learning lesson as you could get. And, I let it ring through my ears as I started to get those nerves backstage. I remember just thinking, well, this is just, if I lose, it's just me learning. And in a sense, that's me aiming high, because that was a good example of me just, hey, there's 20 fighters that signed up for this, and there's about 500 to 1,000 people outside in Atlantic City Showboat Hotel ready to watch all of us fight.
Right.
20 to 1,000 ratio makes it like a 0.002%. I'm a rare
And
specimen.
these were full MMA fights, like no head guards, like no bullshit.
We had shin pads because this was amateurs. So
Okay.
it was gloves and shin pads. That was it.
Gloves and shin
Mouth
pads.
guard, cup, no headgear, all in. Cage, lock the doors, get ready to go. And listen, like, I think that's where my mentality comes. I remember leaving that and just feeling like, wow, like if I could do that, man, there is no way anybody could limit me to anything, because that shit's hard. You
Yeah,
feel
no,
me?
that's,
Like,
I mean, I think the cutting is the hardest part too.
maybe you could call it that journey was hard too, but man, all of it, whatever that experience brought me, I realized, like, at 19 years old, I realized, man, I don't have a long enough life to be sitting here and not trying to be as, this, like, hey, man, like, why not? And you and I are shooting for greatness in a sense. And again, some people are shooting for a good 9 to 5, great stability, good family, this, that. I'm aiming for good family success in my
Yeah.
music career so I can make money off it, etc.
I think whatever you shoot for, you should just shoot for it like with intention,
right,
and purpose.
Listen, you might not want to be CEO, but then aim for CEO so you could become vice CEO. It's just the mentality aspect. All right, you don't want to be vice CEO. Honestly, like, pick and choose what you want, but aim higher than that so you'll be grateful for it. You'll be sitting there like, okay, maybe I wasn't expecting to become vice CEO, but actually I don't do as much work as I was thinking I'd do. And, I'm making quadruple the money I was making. Opportunities are meant to be that way. And again, who said that you can't step down? There's so many options in life. To say that anything is fearful or anything that is something that you can't do, that's crazy. I could pull out if that's the case. I'll pull out, try again, or,
Right.
So here we're going to aim to do a performance by the end of the summer. And our own run performance. We're going to have a big music video and an EP drop right in the middle of the summer. We're going to have your singles being pushed, and we're still pushing content. TikTok every day, both pages. Drunk on Johnny Walker, Lance Prince 44. Instagram, we have created a schedule 3 times, 4 times a week. YouTube is getting posted on every day, whether it's shorts or every Tuesday at 8 a.m. we're posting content. We aren't stopping. And you could tell me that, name another person that is doing that, that's aiming for what we're aiming for, and it doesn't sound like a lot, just because maybe they just think it's impossible.
Interesting.
You know what I'm saying? And like, we could point out examples all day, but from what we pointed out in some examples, it's like, it's not the event that takes up their space. It's they're incapable of allocating time and
Right.
making proper schedules to make sure they're blocked off properly, and they'll never fail to, hit these certain things. Like, we make sure we meet 2 or 3 times a week and we block it, make sure we're meeting at these certain times. We're always going to get things done if we're always allocating that space for
Allocating time.
and they're just bad at that. If they can't, be good at, setting up performances consistently at least, or whatever the case is, then, maybe complain about other things that they can't release music, not to call anyone out, but there's no way you and I could say that we would be similar when we probably have proven to ourselves already that we've pushed further. We've done performances and still release music. We've done this and that. Like, there's no reason to maybe think it's impossible in that sense, right? Like, and I guess that's just to bleed into your guys' like mindsets. It's like, guys, like if you're listening, like it just, you think it's, if they're saying it's impossible, that's more reason to be doing it. That's more reason to do it, because then you're the black sheep of the crowd. You know, like you're
Right.
just, you looking different and you doing it different. And that's what makes it, because then everybody will start looking at the person doing it different. And all of a sudden they start turning around and following you, not leading you. That's for fuck sure. They're not leading you. You're going to be followed. So it's how you create the path. It's how are you going to make these decisions. And again, they're all high risk. Again, this music video photo shoot could become a clusterfuck conundrum, you know, but the risk and the reward are just as high. That's
Yeah.
what we're in life to live, shooting high. And listen, the risk is some financial deficit in a sense, but we still are able to maybe make the most out of certain other aspects. We got to always look for the positives as well.
Right.
So a negative is not always bad. Like, it was like a story about like a farmer who, like, it's like, I don't even know, I think I'm making this story up, but similar story. It's like a farmer's car was his tires popped and he couldn't go down the road to get milk. And then next thing you know, there was a huge tornado, but if he was in his car, he would have been swept away or whatever in
Right.
that area. You know, it's like the bad thing is not always the bad thing. So it probably kept you alive in that moment, right? Like in that sense, it's like,
Yeah, there's like things happen for a reason, kind of is what people say.
right. So if that, whatever happens, it's just a learning experience from us, and we will benefit and we will gain more than anyone that has not dared to try. And I think it's a Theodore Roosevelt quote. Let me read it because I think this is a beautiful.
Yeah, while you find that quote, I wanted to say something about the one guy. I think it was the promoter. He said the loser. There's no losing. There's winning on both sides. It's like the person won, and then the person that lost,
Right.
they also won. So I always like thought of this thing where it's like L plus L equals W, loss plus learn equals win, and it's like. Maybe the person that won, they may have learned that whatever they did to, be prepared, that's gonna re-implement that into their mind. Like, okay, I did something right, so maybe let me continue doing that. Or maybe you could also look at it and that person's like, I'm just, maybe it could be ego or something gets in the way. You don't actually take the time to reflect and say, what did I do to win? So that you don't really learn from it. But then the person that lost, they had to learn. Like in the sense of your fighting career, it's like if you lost, you had to learn. Okay, maybe I didn't train my blocking enough. Maybe I didn't parry enough.
Right.
Maybe the mistake was when I tried to take him down, I actually didn't lead with my hips. It's like you can learn so much from failing, and that's the beauty of it.
Right. And let me read this quote. The most beautiful quote. Hold on. I have so this quote was the quote that has inspired me throughout most of my journey up until you met me, especially. Like, it's just in general, this has been maybe a quote I would hang up in my room,
Yep.
in the next few weeks type of a thing after talking about it, because it's a really beautiful quote. Theodore Roosevelt wrote it, and I found it through Dustin Poirier when he had posted it before a championship fight. So, the man in the arena. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man who's actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, who comes short again and again, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at the best knows in the end the triumph of high achievement, and who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Oh wow.
Man, tell me for a second that you would not aim high after reading that, especially.
Yeah, for sure.
Man, like, fuck all that shit where it's impossible. I want to hear that more and more on. Dude, I hope to hear that forever. I want to keep hearing that. And if I'm not hearing that, I'm doing something wrong. I'm doing what they're all doing. and that's not good.
You're playing it safe.
Yeah, I'm listening to yesterday's and today's news, and one thing I remember from that music business class that I took in college, shout out CCM, County College of Morris, yo, like, we have to create tomorrow's news. The only way to do that is by doing what everyone's saying. No, what are you doing? That's right. That's perfect. We're doing
Going
it right.
above and beyond.
Absolutely. Even this sounds crazy in a sense. Imagine being like, having someone that is like, dude, what? You're supposed to go listen to music or go be with your girlfriend or whatever. Like, man, what are we gonna drive down here again in like the next week or whatever? Like, we have work and stuff. It's hard already to have planned this. Well, it's like, let's do what others probably wouldn't have done. They probably would have walked out. They would have probably planned their podcast. Fuck all that.
Right.
I think this is the most beautiful podcast we could have ever put together right now.
Yeah, and I want to actually I want to end off the podcast with both of our stories towards
Shout out
how you
Sesh House, yeah.
shout out Sesh House.
No, we got 30 minutes though. So
Okay,
we're
good. I just
showing
want to make
on
sure
time,
I get this in though. I want to make sure
Yeah,
I get
go
this
ahead.
in about. Let's talk about the journeys a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, what is your journey? Like, where do you think you where did you start? How did you get here? And then I'll say my equal the same.
I think, okay, the best way to explain my journey was COVID-19. When
Okay.
that happened, right? Like, leaving high school. No. All right. So, March of high school, I was planning on beginning to work 2 jobs. I was going to work at the restaurant and work at a Quick Check. And I had this big plan, make all this money, save up for my own car, go to college to do exercise science. I was, 3-time bodybuilder before I was even a graduate of senior year of high school. And COVID hit and kind of struck everything down. So all I had was the Quick Check job, which I was grateful that I had gone and looked for weeks before because I was looking for 2 jobs. Restaurants all closed down, all of that, and life kind of got limited. I had a lot of money at the time. I had saved a lot.
Dope.
I had a lot of business. When I was 16, I started a business at a karate school where I had a fight team, and it was all me running it, cash only, and my sensei didn't charge me a dime for renting the space. Shout out Sensei Scott, Immortal Dragon Martial Arts.
That's cool.
Yeah, but he really set me up in a sense where it's like he trusted me. He loved me as like I was a student for a long time, and we built a relationship. And he trusted me to run the program or whatever. I was making cash $300 a private. $300 for 10 class private, 30-minute privates. Like, that was, I was making good money as a 16-year-old, saved up a lot of money, and then, COVID hit, et cetera, and it killed all my plans. And it kind of made me realize, like, oh shit, you can't make plans in life. There's a lot of things out of your control that, you just, I don't know how to explain it. It's just, there's things out of your control. So actually, like, it was a pessimistic mentality, and I just was like, fuck everything.
I think the vid taught a lot of people that.
Yeah,
but
you could have taken it in an optimistic way, like, don't plan for anything, find your opportunities. I found it as like time to just sit and literally like get drunk and smoke weed. And
Oh wow.
I would just, I was just doing that every day, like getting crossfaded as fuck. And I'm like 17, bro, like, and I'm not thinking about my future anymore. I didn't see a future because I didn't know where this would go. You saw the news. It just, so as a kid, it kind of like maybe put something in my head that maybe is also making me who I am today. But man, like, whatever. I started smoking too much to where my parents started smelling it, and they were like, all right. And they found it. They're like, what's wrong with you? I'm like, well, I'm just depressed or whatever I came up with as a reason. I don't know. I just liked smoking weed, but for sure I was not doing anything healthy for myself, right?
Right.
But, they take me to a doctor who said, I would give you a medical card, because, it seems like that's helping you. But it seems like your parents don't want that. And my mom is sitting right there. So he's like, all right, I'm going to prescribe you benzodiazepine.
What is that?
It's like under the Xanax family.
Okay.
And it's actually the number one like cause of like death pills wise, I think, in like 2023 or
Wow.
20. It was like one of the, and also a highly prescribed medication at one point in 1 year, and it was dangerous. It became like a news prevalent thing where it's like, hey, this is a dangerous drug. But this was way after my addiction. Well, back to where it started. He's like, hey, your son could be addicted to these pills. And she didn't really listen. And my mother, no harm, no foul, whatever. My
Right.
mom thought, smoking is bad, and yeah, smoking is bad. And maybe take edibles, right? Those things are better. But she didn't understand that either. She thought weed was just gonna kill me.
Okay.
So and I found a liking to taking the benzos, smoking the weed, and drinking,
Oh no.
which is a big no. Just popping that pill and drinking kills people. Kills people. Period. One pill and alcohol. And I'm over here popping. Man, I remember like pouring it in my hand, the bottle, having a handful, putting it in my desk drawer, and playing video games while popping them like candy, bro. And by the end of the night, I'm just like a zombie, and I couldn't sleep because the pill is meant to help you sleep, but after a certain point, it wires your brain differently.
Okay.
I don't know how to explain it, but you go zombie mode. It's almost like you've been asleep. You're so relaxed that you're already asleep. You don't need to even go to sleep. I guess that's the best way to explain.
Is that similar to lead, like the high on that?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't want to know. But I was, I didn't need to sleep. I didn't feel tired at a certain degree. I just felt so relaxed. I wasn't tired, if that makes sense. And but it would be so weird where I'd fall asleep at 12 p.m. and wake up at 6 p.m. Like, terrible substance for you. Hence that more. I can't hence that more. But, I fell under a complete addiction, and like, I started my music career a little bit before that, but the benzos and just finding my rhythm in the like I would take all these substances at night and I'd make these songs almost as my like not goodbye notes, but rather like I didn't expect myself to wake up because I had knowledge that this was not good for me. So I was not expecting to wake up in the morning. So I'd be making songs kind of like things, tunes that I heard in my head. So it started before I was smoking weed and, started before I got the pills. I was still smoking weed and drinking, and I just like started just singing these tunes that, I just wanted to express myself because I was in a low time. But the pills really added this funk to my sleep. So, your brain is all wired weirdly. And I remember waking up with songs singing in my head that weren't real songs yet. So I knew I just had to like put it on, and I would finish it at the end of the night on Audacity with headphones. Yeah, like it was trash. But those were my goodbye notes, bro. Like I was expecting it to be something where it's like, if I don't wake up in the morning, they'll find this and they'll be like, wow, he was, at least
that'd be the legacy almost.
Yeah, like I was aiming for a legacy concept, but it wasn't, it wasn't big thinking. It wasn't aiming high thinking. It was some short-lived I'm gonna die tomorrow thinking. So that's why it's really like you gotta live big, live long. It's like,
maybe like continue to live every day like it's your last, but not like
not like it's actually your last. You got to think in the big picture and shoot high in that regard, And I've learned that over my growing up, and I was only 17, and I meet artists along the way, and by the end of the summer of 2020, I completely get off the pills. Cool. I stay on weed. I stop drinking, and then I fall under a bad relationship, and then next summer I start doing Percocets, oxycodones, and all of the under all of those pills, and that was the next summer, and I was just going into my parents' cabinets. They would not take the pills that they would get from the dentist, pretty much. If that makes sense. For like the real painkillers or any surgeries that they had, they just wouldn't take those pills. So they just put them in different cabinets, and I found them, and I started taking them and doing the same habit. Fell under the same.
Were they expired when you would take them?
Honestly, I felt it. I not to say it, but it's like I took a few, and I remember throwing up. So that's how I know it was like hitting me, because I remember really getting like, oh no, I'm like about to pass out. Like this is not a good feeling.
Wow.
Like you could OD. Maybe like you get what I'm saying. Some people throw up because I did. I went straight to go throw up. I could have been asleep and throw up and like
backwards,
whatever it is. Man, I'm like
laying on your back
onto the not waking up the next morning or whatever. And but there was still a goal that summer, 2021, to do an MMA fight at the end of the summer.
Oh wow!
And midway through that summer, I also began going to the studio with these friends that I made along the way.
Okay.
And these are artists that have featured on Brothers Like Me videos in the past. And long story short, the MMA fight, I remember the week right before I took my last pill. Like there was no more. I couldn't find any more in the house. So I emptied out a good amount of bottles. I would say at least a good 9 or 10, 11 bottles over a 3-month period.
Wow.
Yeah. And so, I remember taking the last pill and being like, well, I don't have a plug. So this has to be the last one. And ever after that, I was focused on the weight cut, and I was so nervous about the fight when the fight came. And I actually swear I probably was going through withdrawals backstage in my MMA fight without knowing. I'm like over here shaking. Like I remember,
You're like, I'm just real nervous.
yeah, the doctor was like, "Why are you shaking?" And I'm like, "I'm just really scared. It's my first fight, right?" And I mean, I'm sure the nerves mixed with withdrawing, not the best mix. You know. And, you know, the doctor also was about to not let me fight because he heard about my 20-pound cut. And I was just like, nah, man, I just had Chipotle. I'm feeling great, man. Like, I couldn't see after the third round. No, I remember sitting down on my bench after the second round. And my coach was starting to tell me, yo, Lance, you gotta straighten up, blah, 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 blah. This and that. And I just keep cutting him off. I go, yo, coach, I can't see. Coach, I can't see. And it was completely blurred. I was dehydrated. My body had not enough. You know, I cut too much weight way too quick.
Yeah, 20 pounds that quick is...
And ate way too much food way too quick. Think about that. I had a whole Chipotle bowl mixed with 2 protein shakes. What was I thinking? I asked wrestlers
You should have had a freaking coach or something, bro.
No, listen, right? But yeah, I threw up for 30 minutes after my fight. Yeah, it was like, a good 30 minutes. There's a picture of me sitting on a chair over the garbage because I got tired of standing. That's how long I was throwing up for. And yeah, man, like all of that aspired to like I was in a rush to do another fight really quick. Did a kickboxing fight. Blew out my ACL and MCL that fight.
Oh, shit.
And that was only like a month and a half later. So it was all way too close together. I've learned my lesson as a kid through competition not to do that, but here I did it again. So learn from your mistakes, right? And I was like, oh, shit, like I can't do any physical activity like I want to or would. So I need to use my brain. And I've been going to the studios lately. And I had a studio session the next day after my fight with a blown up knee. And I was like, I'm gonna go to the doctor the next day, which was the Monday. So Saturday was the fight. Sunday I went to the studio, and then Monday
you went to the doctor.
And he stuck a whole like 8-inch needle into my knee to suck all the blood out. So you know, but I realized like in that day before, I was like, man, I could still do this. I'm just using my voice and my brain. So I went into college for the music recording.
Dope.
And since then, man, that's where I've stretched into meeting people that have brought me to the open mics. So, for example, I saw that ad because of college friends that sent me the ad. They're not musicians, but they're just friends. But, you know, making these connections have brought me through these certain paths. And, you know, I can't regret not a bit. And since then, I've learned to not only love my life tremendously, but love others tremendously, man. Like, think about how, like, every soul we meet, whether it's going to be that one time you meet them or, like, you'll see them for the next month or whatever, just love these souls is only going to be such a rare, it's just a rare occasion. Like, you know, I don't know how the afterlife looks, or whatever it be, but this is only the one opportunity to share that opportunity with that other soul in any scheme of the things, whether it's just a conversation. That's why I hated working at Starbucks. It was like the drive-through, there was like 2,000 people coming through the window. I couldn't make any connect. I just started feeling bad. Like, wow, like all these souls that I don't give a shit about and feeding them all this sugar that, you know, is killing them.
Yeah,
but,
I mean, listen, you don't have to do the sugar. That's the thing. You could always just do like take it black.
Yeah, take it black. Just black coffee, right? And yeah, man, like,
RT.
Mad Minds, and then I meet you, and then we've had our big performance, and now we're on to bigger things, and we're just trying to be bigger than what you can imagine, what I can imagine. We just got to keep doing it so we break those limits, and then we can see even bigger. We're just gonna see bigger things, and yeah, that's where my little origin story.
Bro.
What about you, Johnny Walker?
Congratulations!
Yeah,
I like
applause right there.
like
That was helpful right there.
that's inspirational too, because it's like
helpful.
I'm glad to hear you made it on the other side, because there's so many people that have actually gone through that. Like, we lost so many like amazing artists to addictions like that.
Yeah.
Lil Peep, Juice World, you know, some people that could have still been here making music. And, you know, it's great that you're still here. You made it through that, and it actually sounds like all these things built you, especially happening in such like a small amount of time, like such like
in a 4-year period.
A 4-year period, and it's like you went through all these different trials and tribulations, ups and downs, and I think that's the beauty of life.
Yeah, and I just got a hence to make sure everybody understands I've not taken pills since August of 2021.
Oh, okay.
I've been clean for a good
Clap it up for that
2
too.
years, 2.5 years. It is not something to do. Just making sure you understand that.
Just
yo.
drink your water.
Yeah, drink water. Sip your alcohol time to time. Whatever.
Smoke a little weed. Drink some coffee.
Right, drink some coffee. Those are But all right, Johnny Walker, tell us about you. You have a bigger story. 10 years.
10 years I've been doing music, bro. Like I have a interesting story. I'll start from the beginning. So it was a cloudy day. That's crazy. But so basically, I actually originally got into music when I was a young kid. I was Eminem for Halloween. I spray painted my hair blonde.
That's crazy.
I mean, Eminem's a goat. Like, if anyone wants to say that's fucked up, like, fuck you. Eminem is a fucking goat, bro. Cleaning out my closet. Eminem his catalog is wonderful. Like, Eminem is an amazing artist. So, like, if you think that's fuck you.
Eminem is what got me into music and hip hop music. Period.
Eminem, 50 Cent, like these are people's around. Like when I was getting older, I was like, yo, these people are amazing, and what they're doing is so beautiful. Wu-Tang, yep. But so basically, fast forward, like I guess I also started on the Audacity. I just started feeling like I believe what happened was in 6th grade, I tried out for the basketball team. And at this point, I haven't trained as much. I didn't build my skills, to go back to that skill, like the skill deficit. It's like, so I didn't make the team. And I was like, nah, yo, I went to Livingston High School. So I was like, nah, yo, they want to put all these white kids on. I'm black, nigga. But I was young and I was like, I didn't understand that my skills weren't there. But then I was in an art class. And something about the art class and like being creative was like, yo, this is super dope.
My apologies.
Oh, no problem.
All right. That's turned off. I had an alarm for waking up.
It's time to wake up.
For work today. That's crazy.
That's wild. Wrong timing.
Would have missed work, huh?
That's crazy, bro.
All right,
but so basically what happened was I was in this class. I tried out for the basketball team that year, and I was in this art class, and creating art was just actually really beautiful and fulfilling. And then I think I started writing poems. My first poem that I wrote, or like spoken word, was called Why. And it was like, why is a question I'm asking that can't be answered? This is in 6th grade. And then I remember having like this gray binder with a notebook in it just full of raps and rhymes. And I was like, yo, I really fuck with this. This is something I want to keep doing. And then, that going down to all these different artists, 50 Cent, Eminem, people that I was watching, I was like, what they're doing is so cool, and I want to do this too. The emotions they make people feel is like beautiful. Then I actually also started using Audacity. 7th grade, 8th grade, I was using Audacity, and I was like just recording random remixes over like Lil Wayne, I'm Single. I was doing Wasted by I forgot. I think it was Gucci Mane or something. I was doing random,
That's
just
a good
like
song.
I was doing random, just like remixes. I was like, let me just do this, make some tracks.
I started that way
cool.
too, bro.
It's Audacity is the way to start.
Yeah.
Just do some remixes at
I
first.
actually started with like doing the chopped and screwed kind of concept, where
Chopped
you just
and screwed.
slow it and reverb it. It's not fully chopped and screwed because I don't have a DJ board, but I just like the slow and reverb.
Slowed it down through Audacity, and you were able to. Oh, because you were on the
Yeah, I just like things slow.
You were like,
Yep.
dope, yo, this is.
I'm back on your thing though.
But so I went from there, and then around like 8th grade, near the end of 8th grade, I actually. I was trying to read this summer reading book, right, for high school, going into 9th grade. And for some reason, I'm like, yo, the prints on this book is just weird. I'm like, yo, Dad, I got to get some glasses. So then I go into the place to get the glasses. They're going through all the different shades and all the different like lenses. And they're like, is this working? Is this working? I'm like, nah, no difference. And they're like, huh? And he looks like the character House. He's like biting a pen, like, what the fuck is wrong with this kid? But he obviously didn't say any of that. But he was like, okay, you know what? I want to send you to a specialist. So fast forward, he sends me to this specialist, and by this time, my vision's deteriorating. So I'm starting to like not be able to see. Basically, the way I'm seeing is if I'm looking directly at something, it's cloudy or actually static. I like to say, like, if it's like, you ever seen like a static television? Basically, if I'm looking directly at something, it's like a static television, and I can see peripherally. So I'm in the specialist's office. I'm trying to look up at the TV, and I'm like, huh, this is kind of crazy. Hopefully, this is not permanent. They can fix this. And I'm like, wait, what could I have that would cause my vision to go? This is kind of scary. And I'm 14. I'm not even 14 years old. I'm actually 13 at this point, and I'm like freaked out. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Fast forward, my birthday comes. I'm doing all these different tests, Galligan scans, MRIs, CAT scans. At one point, I did a biopsy where they had to like knock me out, cut open my eyelid, cut open a piece of my lip, do like some tests, see what is going on, because they couldn't figure it out. I had to go to this super specialist. Shout out Dr. Turbin, Rutgers, the Rutgers
damn.
Hospital. That guy's a G. But yeah, they couldn't figure it out. They didn't know what was wrong with me. And I was just like, at this point, I was slowly getting numb and like number. I was like, yo, what is good? Am I ever gonna be able to see again? And then basically what ended up happening was, at one point they were gonna cut my head open. They were like, yo, let's just cut open his head, see what the hell's wrong with him.
Wow.
Yeah, so like during all these tests, they found that I had a benign cyst on my brain, whatever it was. All this crazy shit. They were about to cut my head open. I remember walking up to like sign the papers. I'm like, so I'm really just gonna do this. Next thing I know, next week the doctor calls me and he's like, hey, I think we know what's going on. So cancel that whole thing of cutting off my head. I'm like, cool, I'm gonna be fine. And then basically he tells me, so from a blood test, we found out you have a super rare condition called Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy. And I'm like, oh. I kind of sink into the chair a bit and I'm like, damn, at least I know what's wrong with me. So then from there, the reason I connect that story so much with my music career is because I always feel like music was always there. Like music was the one that kind of saved me through that pain. So it's like you lost something, almost like losing a family member, a friend, something so close to you. It's like something that you never could have thought could happen to you. But then music was there. So fast forward, what ends up happening is like, I'm just going through it. I remember my aunt calling me and she was like, when she finally got the courage to call me, because she was so like heartbroken. She was like, your confidence and your like resilience made her feel stronger. I didn't even realize I was doing it. I was just like, yeah, I don't know. What am I going to do? I'm like, okay.
And you figured shit out.
That's what you have to do. So it's like, I say God saves his toughest battles for his strongest warriors. But to fast forward to how this kind of melded with music and how this is part of how my journey came, is like, at a point, I was like using, money to buy things because I got, money for being disabled, whatever it was. And I was like, what am I going to do? Then I finally was like, oh, so I got to get back to music now. And I decided to buy all this equipment for my friend Rob so that he can start recording me, making beats. And I'm like, okay, I buy this $80 mic. It was a Blue Yeti snowball mic. And I'm like, let's do this shit. Before that, we were actually using a Rock Band mic. So we had a Rock Band mic from the video game plugged into his computer. I recorded a whole EP on it. Sounded pretty trash. You could probably still find it. Nuketown, Johnny Walker, if you look it up on YouTube. Bells, also Johnny Walker. You could probably still find it. But the craziest thing about this all was it was like, okay, music was there. I was releasing these emotions. I was like, I could still do this. So, me being visually impaired or me being blind or legally blind is what they call it. I was like, this is not stopping me. So then I continued making music. And the beautiful thing about that all is like, okay, I made this whole EP. Next step is, let's do a show. So I reached out to this teen club. Back in the day, there was this teen club called Confetti in Randolph. And I was like, yo, I know people are going there to do shows. Hold up. So I reached out to the guys, me and my boy Rob. He was going to be the DJ. We were like, okay, let's do this show. Let's do this shit for sure. So we go there, have a meeting. He's like, you got to sell 20 tickets at $20. I'm like, okay, so this is how it works. I'm going to just tell all my family to come. Luckily, it was my first show because I told a lot of people to show up and like people ended up showing up. Some people didn't want to pay. Luckily, I was like, I'm going to pay for people to get in. I was like, we about to do the show. Everybody come in. I did the show. The crazy thing too is like I wrote some songs the day, like literally the same week, memorized them, did this whole performance. And my first ever performance was visually impaired. So like I've never experienced what it's like to be on stage as a sighted person, which is an interesting thing. But it's like, when I tell people that I'm never nervous on stage, they're like, "Is it because you can't see people?" I'm like, I don't know. I can't tell you because I've never seen the other side of it.
I would say, not to cut you off, but like maybe you've gone through such a, in a way, it's a trauma of a sort. Like the way you handled it is just that's how you handled it, and then anything else is nothing. Same thing as my MMA fights. Like, is it really a job interview that big of a deal versus sitting backstage before
getting ready
a fight?
to fight somebody?
Yeah, that just also been training for my fucking first and last name. He knows my first and last, so he could have been studying me and seeing what I was up to. He could have seen I was buff from bodybuilding, whatever it is. He's training for me, and I'm training for him for the past 2 months.
Yeah,
that's a crazy, scary feeling. And who knows how long he's been training? Who knows how long I've been training? So I'm sure he's feeling the same nerves on his first fight. So in a sense, I'm saying that my 10th fight might not be as wow as the first, but it's that concept of like, will my 30th job interview really be that difficult, or will standing on stage in front of millions of people be or one? Like, does that even differ or compare to the fear that I felt backstage before I'm getting punched in the face, or the your eye
Impairment.
your eye impairment, which is for the rest of your life, something you have to sit with, deal with. You have your own insecurities about certain aspects of things. So in a sense, it's like, is standing in front of people really that big of a deal? I think that's what makes us different. That's
Yeah.
too. And then we could then focus on things that are past being nervous, which is how are we going to look to them? How are we going to perform? And that's where we're at. And yeah.
I mean,
I don't mean to cut you off.
No. I mean, that I guess that kind of makes sense about it. Think about it like that. It's like, if you've gone through so much, it's like, what's this?
Yeah.
What's this supposed to be?
Yeah.
You build confidence by going through tough times, by going through things. Like, you could build confidence through that.
Yeah, the rose that came from the concrete, it's more beautiful than the ones that have been grown in the fields.
Yeah. What's that one? Isn't there a plant or something that's like grown in the sand or something? Or there's like,
I don't know
obviously
what it would be, that's the same beauty in the sense where it's like, wow, like that's not coming around often.
No,
You're not going to see that often either. And that's you don't see a Drake or a Kanye in our life or in any lives that often, in a sense. Maybe Beethoven, like back whenever.
That's
They
true.
say that they were a bit crazy too in their own way. But again,
They
come
always say artists are crazy.
Like, once in a rare ass lifetime, and appreciate those rarities and be a rarity if that's the case too. So maybe take advantage of your poor area. Like if you're like in a poor mindset, you're feeling bad, like you're in a bad place, like take that and be like, well, this is more reason to be something that, bigger.
That's why I always say it's a blessing and a curse, because I'm like, at one point, maybe it may cause insecurities, or like it's something you have to deal with, something that's like, or whatever it is, you have to adapt now.
Right.
But then it's like, it's a blessing because you have to adapt now.
Yep.
And it's a blessing because it's like you could grow, and maybe what you may look at as a flaw, some people look at as unique or it's rare. Because like you're saying, once in a lifetime, these rare things come around. And it's like with my condition, it's supposedly extremely rare. There's not many people in the world that have it.
Right.
And then the craziest part about it all is it mainly shows up in males. And my mother, she had 4 sisters, so they had no idea that this hereditary condition was in the family until I was the first male. So it's like, okay, there you go.
Right.
It's crazy.
And and then from there you went off to tour with people, and then you're off to.
It was well,
let's see what we're at.
Yeah, to check time.
Yeah, we have about like 5 minutes or so.
5 minutes left.
Yeah.
All right. But yeah, so we went. That was the first show. It was at a place called Confetti. Fast forward, just continued making music. Got into a few different rap groups with shout out Ethan Ross. Back when he was Ethanol, we were RX Vibe. Created mixtapes, created some merch. We were just doing a thing. Fast forward, graduate high school. I'm out of these different groups. I get into a group called Found Vegas. Found Vegas was actually super dope. We were like a hip hop boy band, 2 rappers, 1 singer, full band. Drummer, guitarist, bassist, and we were able to actually, within a year's time, we set a goal, and we ended up going on tour with Jacquees, his first ever national tour, the Mood Tour. After that, we went on some social media tours with Lauren Gray was on them. What's his name? Lauren Gray. What was that other guy's name? Blake. Oh, Blake. I can't remember his name. But we went on the different social media tours, and then we even had a tour bus at one point, so it was super dope. And then after that band kind of broke up, and then since then I've just been kind of putting out music, doing the whole like solo thing, because I believe I want to keep doing this, and this is something that's super important.
And now we're here to where we have thewinnertable.com with clothing. We didn't bring any of the clothing today. Again, this was spontaneous. We have thewinnertable.com. We're on Brothers Like Me, bigger than ever. Brothers Like Me has never been bigger than ever. And here we are.
Brothers Like Me is, that's something that Lance created along his journey. And then
now it's just something to share, in a sense of like, this is not a race to the top. I say this to every artist I meet. It's not a race to the top. It's just how we going to get there. So if it's really, anything to show, like we're the example of, it's no competition. It's no competition between us, at least in a sense, where it's like our only goal is to both eat at the top,
right?
Eat good, feed our families, and feed our families. And if we could help each other along the process, fuck it, because that's only gonna help to when you have a low time, I have a low time, one person's picking up that slack, etc. Like, it's just one of those things where I think we combine both energies from what our life and what we've experienced, and now we're combining it. And we contrast ideas all the time, but that's what's making this driving force right now. This is a machine, And look out for the music video as well.
Music video for Picture This.
Picture this EP drop. Picture this. I don't know what the EP is going to be called yet, but we'll definitely probably come back for a podcast to definitely announce that stuff.
Continue creating this content. Got another new song out called Party Pack.
And I got a song out called Go Home with Justin.IRL. Fuck that bitch and then I go home. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely check out that. Drunk on Johnny Walker on Instagram, Spotify.
Johnny Walker on Spotify, right?
Yeah, Johnny Walker,
on
Spotify. Drunk on Johnny Walker also on TikTok.
Lance Prince on everything. Absolutely everything. Spotify, Lance Prince on TikTok, Lance Prince on Instagram. 44 is the number. So if you're trying to figure out which Lance Prince it is, it's the one with the 4s. And brothers like me, subscribe, like, comment. Let us know how you feel about this video.
Definitely.
And right before we cut this, let's give a shout out promo to Sesh House. Give them some.
Definitely. Let's give a shout out promo.
Anything else you want to say right before we?
I was gonna say just look out for the winter table, the merch. Look out for the podcast, the YouTube. We're rocking.
Yeah, we love you guys. We love you guys so much. There's no words to explain. We're now allowed to do what we love, and we love to do this. This is not something we haven't made money for the past 2 years, and doesn't whatever the trajectory is, it doesn't fucking matter because I just love doing.
Speak for yourself.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What do you mean we haven't made money the last few years?
No, I'm talking about the YouTube channel.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the YouTube channel.
has not been
monetized,
profitable.
What we're saying is it's still something we're doing out of love. Like, we enjoy doing this. We just enjoyed. We're gonna do any of these types of content. We're artists. We like to create, and yeah.
Facts.
Subscribe, like, comment. Yeah. One last time. This was Lance Prince.
Johnny Walker.
This was a Brothers Like Me podcast, the Winner Table Podcast. Subscribe. You'll find more podcasts like this, the Winner Table Podcast. We're all winners up in this. Check out our clothing, thewinnertable.com. Johnny Walker.
Thank you guys so much. You have a beautiful, blessed day.
Much love. Love you guys.
Stay alive.